In these days of high and rising home energy costs and increasing environmental concerns, what Canadians need are real energy facts and also some real home insulation stories, and that's what you'll get here in this video. Fact number one may be the most telling of all, and that's quite simply that Canadians use lots of energy. I suppose we could be forgiven for this because we do live in a cold and large country, but facts are still facts, and energy consumption is still energy consumption. So, how much energy do Canadians use? Let's start by looking at some numbers. The average person in Canada uses 320 gigajoules of energy per year. That would be total energy consumption for personal use and industrial use, and the number might not mean so much to you. But let's compare it to some other countries that are also cold. Sweden, for instance. Per capita energy consumption there is just 215 gigajoules. Norway comes in at a little bit more, 270 gigajoules. Denmark is really remarkable at 130 gigajoules per person on average. Even the United States, a country not exactly known for its economical use of energy, only comes in at 290 gigajoules, considerably less than our own 320. Of these figures, about 15% is used for home heating and cooling. This is similar to the amount used for transportation, except in the case of homes, we can drastically reduce this amount through the use of insulation. Fact number two is that home insulation offers the greatest single potential area for gain of all the other energy issues in our lives. It offers the most low-hanging fruit, so to speak, and to make this point, I want to share a few numbers with you. The first is that 80% of all Canadian homes require an additional 7.5 inches of insulation in the attic just to meet the current minimum building code standards for new homes. Another thing to understand is that the benefits, or the payback, begin as soon as that insulation goes in. So how long does the payback period take? Well, generally, it's 3 to 10 years, depending on the state of insulation in your house. Now, after that, the savings go directly into your pocket, and they benefit the environment too. The third fact to understand is that insulation is green. Of course, that makes sense, but what you might not realize is just what the numbers are behind that fact. To begin, you need to understand something called full retrofit potential. This is what people in the energy analysis industry call the total amount of benefits that would be enjoyed if every Canadian home were as insulated as it should be. The short form is FRP, and let's look at some of the savings that would happen if Canada did reach the FRP level. The first thing that would happen is that we would burn 2.5 billion cubic meters less of natural gas each year. Now, that number's way too big to understand, but it's the equivalent of the gas required to heat 1 million homes in Canada each year, year after year. In addition to this, we'd also save 11.2 billion kilowatt hours of electricity each year. Once again, that's a really huge number. It's hard to understand what it means. But in real terms, it amounts to 3 million steaming hot 10-minute showers every month for Canadians, month after month after month. That's the magnitude of just the electricity savings. Now, while it's true that not many Canadians heat their homes with oil these days, reaching full retrofit potential in this country would still save 690 million liters of heating oil each year. That amounts to 6,600 railway tanker cars of oil. Fact number 4 is something of a bottom line for most people, and that's simply that home insulation improves lives. Numbers are a vital part of understanding energy realities, but so are human experiences. That's what you're going to get next. 5 simple stories from real live people whose lives have been improved by insulation in their homes.
Our house is definitely warmer with more even temperatures after blowing insulation into the attic. But the most dramatic difference is how much cooler the place is in summer. The house used to be unbearable without central air running constantly. Now, we're comfortable only turning the AC on occasionally, even on super hot days.
We moved into our house in 2007, and insulation was one of the first upgrades. I rented a machine to blow loose-filled insulation and put R50 into the attic. The city had rebates for insulation upgrades, so I actually made $350 more than I paid to buy insulation for my whole house. Not only did I notice the heat savings in winter, but my house is much cooler in summer.
Our house was built in 1946, and when my husband and I bought it in 2001, we couldn't afford upgrades at first. Since then, we've renovated and insulated one section at a time. Everywhere we've improved insulation, you can feel the difference. When we replaced the roof and added insulation in the attic, the house instantly became warmer in winter and cooler in summer.
We bought our home 20 years ago, and the basement was unbearably cold. Nobody would go down there in winter. It was like the entire space was a cold room. I researched the proper way to insulate and did the work myself. My basement is now very cozy, even in winter. It's the place the kids head to when they get home to watch television and play games. As a contractor, I'm always telling clients to put in lots of insulation. Besides the money it saves, insulation makes homes more comfortable. You're always better off spending your money first on insulation before fancier features that don't boost efficiency.